All right, so yeah, I guess we'll just hop into it. So Wednesday we talked about kind of just where the market was at and what the options position was telling us and kind of what's going on. So futures right now are opening just 0.20% higher, 12 points, whatever. But mind you, we're not open Monday, we open Tuesday. So right now, even though it's Sunday, it doesn't really matter what's going on. Yeah, so I guess what we'll do is we'll start with the SPX, right? So ultimate RSI is showing down, breadth is pretty weak. This was actually ticking higher during the week, but obviously it fell off. CSEO, we finally got a sell signal here. For some reason it shows on the futures, but not on the SPX itself. But anyways, we finally got a sell signal. And we're kind of we're struggling, right? Like Friday was a really brutal close, and we lost the 50 and the 20, right? And now we're accepting into the tariff VWAP. And we're coming into the CTA sell-off line here, right? So we closed right in the middle on kind of an undecided candle. And then looking at this from a weekly perspective too, you know, what happened, right? Every time we've tried to get to 7,000, it's just been a sell-off and no one wants to hold the highs, right? And we're starting to accept below that 2025 VWAP as well from the high. And the all-time high VWAP we're well under, and we're accepting under the tariff low VWAP like I said before. So I look at this and think there's no acceptance up here. People want to trade this as a scalp, but there's no acceptance to hold, which makes sense, right? And if we look at something like this, right, there's no gamma past 7,000 unless you start clearing a bit higher. And no one wants to, you know, to be a buyer at the highs. And quite frankly, the market can't push higher. And we've known this for months, right? I've been saying since fucking October that you're not going higher, right? Like you were gonna. I said last year you weren't getting 7,000, you didn't get it. And I said if we were to get 7,000, you would tap it, and that's it. And what happened? That's what happened, right? So I'm thinking with what's upcoming in terms of news and economic data and whatnot, the last catalyst I think to look for is NVIDIA earnings. And I think right around there will be the final kind of tipping point of where the market makes its move. And I think going into that March quarterly expiration, the market really makes its move as well. But yeah, like you can just see everything's undecided. No one wants to be a buyer at the highs, and honestly, it's getting weaker, and we know this, right? We know this. This is not hidden or anything. Same thing if you look at the Nasdaq. No one wants to be buyers at the highs. No one wants to hold up here. It's trading nearly 2,000 points below the high, right? So, yeah, it's tech has been lagging, and rightfully so. There's a lot of problems in the tech market with companies' revenues, capex spending, debt loans, all that jazz, like all the financial stuff. This is just big problems, right? And I think the VIX as well is sending a signal. It finally closed above the red line, right? And I've been saying for months, this is bullish VIX structure. This always kind of happens, right? It's just I don't know. It's not safe right now, and I know from a gamma perspective in the CTA selling level, they're very close together. I just know that shit's getting close, right? And I mean, even the XLF, which has been propping up the S&P a lot, has been selling off pretty hard, right? It lost its 20, its 50, and it closed below the 200-day. JP Morgan as well, coming in here to test the 200-day. Goldman's still holding, but now under the 50, right? But one of the second most important sectors, banking and financials, also showing some weakness, right? And I mean, even something like IGV or whatever, which is another tech index, it's pretty bad, right? The XLE has been strong, but when energy sends, that's usually not a good sign. Like when energy gets a good send, that usually means you're close to a cycle rotation or a top or something, right? So if I was to look at this and say, okay, what's the next move? I would want no breaks just from a candle perspective, kind of below this general area, right? Like I wouldn't want to get acceptance below the low of December, but I also really wouldn't want to accept below this because you have one retest here, like 3. If you lose this, it's not good. And 6,700 is a lot closer than you think, right? So I don't know. I guess you can try and scalp longs if we look at what the profile looks like going into the start of next week. But I mean, what we'll do now is we'll pull it up here. And let's just go take a look at kind of what next week's looking like. So, a lot of resistance above now, like a lot, right? And so this is kind of where we closed. The moves down are going to be pretty accelerated. God forbid we start to break through them. Like if we start to lose 68.25, you know, 67.90, it's not going to be fun. And the moves through these are not going to be fun at all. And there's nothing really to save us below 6,500 until down closer to 6,000 and the 5,700 strike, right? And that's just this week's levels, right? So that's not the whole quarter, but you know, if we were to look at just a weekly range, I mean, it's just a lot of resistance up here around 7,000 again, and even more so in the 6,900s now. But it looks like the downside is a lot more lookout below activity, in my opinion, right? I guess real quick, too, I'll look at VIX positioning. Oh, I think I have to refresh this. Look at VIX positioning here. So VIX expiration is on the 18th, I think. But what we'll do is we'll just assign, we'll just assign the 18th. That's okay. Right. Well, dealers were long into this level, so they have to get this inventory back now. And, I mean, or sorry, dealers are short into this, so they'll have to buy that inventory above. And I really wouldn't want to cross 25, right? Because crossing 25 going into somewhere like March, you know, when the quarterly contract expires, that's not going to be fun. That's for sure, right? There's a lot of net dealers short there. Inventory they'd have to buy back, and the SPX going down at the same time is, it's going to be one tip and stone, and it's very close, right? So I would be very mindful of this, and I'd really watch 25. That's important. That's very important, right? But if I had to guess, I think we're done going up for now. I mean, there's a chance to try and push it a little bit higher just to squeeze some late shorts. But I'm pretty confident that this final 7,000 move here was last week, right? And that's just my view. That's how I think of things. But even just yeah, like going into looking at like something like the monthly here. I mean, it's not over yet, but that's looking pretty undecided to me so far. I guess what we'll do quick is we'll hop over to TPO quick and just take a look at kind of what's going on the SPX itself. So we can combine this 2-day composite here. A lot of single prints left here. I'd be curious to see if we target here this point of control from that Wednesday day. See if we can target that point of control there and fill some of these single prints here before going down. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but I almost wouldn't be surprised because that 60-50 level has been a pretty big magnet in a lot of the trading days. So I'd be looking if we can somehow hold off this point of control from back here. Just because, yeah, I mean, I would say as long as you don't send below here, you're still okay. But when I look at these single prints here, I'm thinking these might get filled before we go down. So I don't know. Maybe that would make sense considering NVIDIA reports next week that maybe this would happen this week. We'd fill this before going down. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But that is something to keep in mind. And just looking at something too like the NASDAQ. I mean, God, there's nothing to do on the NASDAQ. I'll be honest. This is something you just gotta. If you miss the shorts on the high, you just let it do its thing, or you try and chase with safe leverage. But I mean, yeah, like that's just, I don't know. I don't think it gets much cleaner than that. There's not much for you to be doing there, but these single prints here are gonna have to be filled still. So Man, that looks uglier than shit. But I don't even have a trade set up for the Nasdaq. Really, it's just not even something I want to be a part of. And when I don't see something I want to be in, I'd rather sit on my hands. I don't even want to look at it. Right? Gold's trying to catch a bid. Silver's kind of still lagging. Google starting to really sell off here, showing some weakness. Amazon showing some big weakness. Apple showing some weakness. Meta, like tech as a whole is a big problem in the market right now, and I think Tesla too. Tesla's going to be the next one to go crazy. Tesla also kind of reminds me of the MSTR chart where it goes parabolic and then does wicked sell-offs. Palantir sold off. I called this exactly perfect. I called Meta perfect. Do you guys remember when I said Meta would fill this gap back here and then send back down? It was perfect, like literally perfect. So I don't know. I just don't see any comfortable trades in terms of just the big assets, right? There's just not, like, financials look weak and the tech looks weak. Like what are you gonna do, right? And even metals, like is that something you want to trade? Like just looking at that, what do you do there? You know, I mean, I guess you're holding the 20 and don't lose the 50, but I mean, moving average is only going to be so strong, right? The minute someone wants to go and click the button, I mean, yeah, even silver's starting to accept under. I don't know, I just think we're going to go through a cooling phase before, you know, a mid to end of year rally or something like that, right? And that's normal. Markets reset. So there's just nothing there to really do for me. So Bitcoin here is really interesting. I mean, there's just not much to do. Like the weekly closed pretty weak. You know, it closed. It didn't even try to get back into this bar here. It just closed below. You know, if I was to just take an anchored VWAP here and go from, you know, the previous week, I mean, we just closed at the low of the VWAP, you know, and then I guess what we can do here is just flip to the daily and just see, like, that entire time, like, we didn't even try to push into the top of the band or get above it or anything. We didn't even try to test the all-time high VWAP, nothing, right? All we did was ride this the whole time. So I guess what you could do is set a VWAP from the previous week, going into this week to try and trade through that. But I mean, there's just nothing to do. Like Bitfinex, I mean, they're still sort of twapping or whatever, pretty slow, but I don't think they're twapping through this range for a good reason. You know, they were twapping a bit in the 80s on the way down, but I think that's more of a warning shot of, hey, we got lower to go. I don't think these lows are in at all, like not even close. We haven't even filled the naked low yet at 61. So I would just keep an eye on this and see when it figures itself out, but there's just nothing to do. So what we'll do is we'll just do some Bitcoin TPO here real quick. I mean, looking at this, I mean, this huge multi-day composite accepted below. Up here, we can combine this, but this big multi-day up here is what I'm interested in, right? Like it's just, I don't know, like I feel like my point of control should be up here more, but regardless, like there's nothing to do, right? I don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, you're not breaking out of this multi-day composite here. You're not quite setting below yet, but you also haven't filled these naked lows here or anything like that. It's just, and I mean, even now, we've just accepted under the point of control, and we're holding under the value area low of this multi-day composite, opening up right now. This can change during the week, right? But just on a Sunday, I mean, I don't know. To me, that doesn't look like health. It looks like still weakness. No one wants to be a full buyer. I was reading some reports that retail was trying to buy and stuff, and I mean, I guess, but I guess what we can do now is merge this profile here, and now you have a 2-week composite. So your new levels are going to be, there you go, there's your 2-week weekly composite now. So again, we have some single prints above, but I mean, I don't know, sentiment's weak, man. Like, we have this range to trade, I guess, between 72 and 65. But I mean, that's not something I want to be dabbling in. I mean, especially under this weekly point of control right now. I don't know. I have a feeling we're going down to test this personally on Bitcoin, the value area low this 2-week. I think that's probably the next move, or at least close to it this week, if I was to guess. Oh, I guess this is something I wanted to look at. Where's the quarterly open? So January 1st. Here. I'm gonna change this color quick just so I can see it. We're gonna go yellow if that's okay. There are a lot of VWAPs here, but yeah, you see, even just holding the quarterly, it's just been riding it down. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. Crypto's not something I want to touch. Like, not even to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm having more fun with Troutcoin. I'll be honest. I want no play in this. You know, I think everything's weak. And I honestly think the next leg lower is sooner than later. I mean, I think right now we're just setting weak lower highs on everything, right? And remember when everyone thought Hyperliquid was holding up the best and going so high, and I was like, no guys, this is a normal lower high bear market rally. And I tweeted the weakest. I tweeted the most crowded trade is the scariest, and it was right here, literally right here, and then we sold off all that Hyperliquid gain. So I don't know. Like, I'm scared for this asset going down the road too, with all the KYC on chain stuff and the securities violations they've done. I like Hyperliquid. I actually like the platform. I think it's awesome. But in terms of just lawmaking and Democrats winning the next election, I'm worried for this asset personally. But if we can get regulation figured out, I'm probably more bullish on it. But I just know they've violated a lot of securities issues, and I don't know. I don't know. I love using it for perps and stuff. I think the ecosystem's cool. It's just in my mind. I know that there's those problems there, and that's not me being bearish on the asset itself, like intentionally. Like, I actually think what they're doing is brilliant, but you know, centralization, like government, it ruins things, and I think these guys are gonna be succumb to some of that factor in the future, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate. I'm saying unfortunate a lot, but yeah, I don't know. There's nothing to do on crypto right now, man. Like, really, Total 3 still has to figure itself out. Um, Bitcoin or BTC plus ETH dominance, like BTC.D, ETH.D, USDT.D, USDC, like just I don't know. So I was thinking today, like actually about Bitcoin dominance and what it's been doing in USDT dominance, and the scariest thing I think is it's like the market cap of stablecoins, like actually falling off. So even though we're rising into like higher stablecoin dominance on the market sell-off, they're actually like exiting out of stablecoins a little bit, which means people are actually off-ramping out of crypto as well. So that's concerning. Like, I've been talking about USDT dominance and it's significant, right? And how much, you know, it affects the market. So like we're rallying, like stablecoins are breaking out, basically, meaning people are converting into them to get out of assets, but at the same time they're also selling out, off-ramping. So I don't even know, man. Like, oh, whoopsies, I did not mean to do that. Like, I want to try and be bullish at some point. Like, it's honestly sucks being the big bad bear, but I just know, like, for both markets, both crypto and equities, there's just so many underlying problems right now, and it's just not something you can just be healthy in, right? Like, what are you supposed to do here when you've lost everything other than stay short? And no lows have been formed or anything. Like, the sentiment hasn't changed. People are still dumping every day. And equities haven't even tipped yet, but they're within 100 or so, maybe 100, 200 points of hitting that line of tipping. What do you do, right? And listen, as a trader, you have to be able to adapt to those scenarios. When I want to be long, I'll be long. When I think it's a bull market, that's literally the freest, easiest, quickest, like, stress-free time is in a bull market to make money, right? But I think the most useful tip you can have in your arsenal is being able to spot divergence and bearishness ahead of time, And that's what I've been so good at doing the whole last bit. Like, I called the tariff crash perfectly. I've called this crash perfectly. And if I call the equity crash perfectly, which I'm expecting, you know, very soon, I mean, I don't know. Like, I would say for myself that I've been pretty accurate, and I think I've built up a good trading system that, that I've been able to analyze a lot of things ahead of time. So, I don't know. I don't really know what more there is to talk about. Like, bonds are actually catching a bid, which I've said this before, is actually scarier to think about in terms of why people are flocking to them versus them just abruptly uninverting and breaking out like they've been doing. But why would there be a buyer for bonds if things were okay, right? I mean, Japan's yields haven't really slowed down at all, have they? Not really, right? But I'd be scary too about like something like the TLT breaking out or something weird, right? People looking for more protection, or even credit spreads. Why are these so elevated? Meanwhile, we're barely off the highs, like just blowing out both the yield and options adjusted, right? And we know what happens. Like if you look at something like the VIX overlaid with credit spreads, every time she looks to get rowdy like the dirty girl she is, it's usually not a fun time, right? So something's up. Something's up, and I think all of us kind of know what it is, but or at least the people with the brain kind of know what it is, right? But I don't know. I think it's just time. I think it's just time. But I think last week too, I called that. I said this was a bearish pattern where you get this weird melt up before a complete reversal down. I'm pretty sure I called this. I said like the melt up is the scariest because it's called a what do you call a neck breaker reversal, where price goes parabolic on a bear market rally before getting a rejection and then sending down even harder, which it kind of did, right? You previously just did a little rainbow where you go up and then down. Yeah. So I don't know, another chart we can look at here is the SPX divided by gold. This is your crash indicator. When this flips, that's your crash indicator, right? And we are well below it, at least for now. Well below it, right? I mean, yeah, that SFIX sell signal flashed as well, and it's selling off pretty good. VVIX here at 115. VVIX above 130 is when I think people really start to panic, personally. I know Asia markets, I mean, they're a little bit weak right now. It's just a Sunday night. Doesn't really mean much. It's weird. It's weird how Tuesday's going to open knowing it's a short trading week. I'll say that. I think this week's very volatile both ways, both up and down, personally. Just because it's a shortened trading week and it's the lunar holiday and we're coming into the planetary alignment shit. I don't know. I'm really bearish for March, though. I'll say that. Really bearish for March. Anyways, guys, I don't think there's much more for me to talk about. I feel like I've covered pretty much everything. Yeah, it's just unfortunate kind of what the sentiment is right now. I mean, I don't know. This happens. It's the same pattern happens every single time. Every single time the same pattern happens. Where you get a bunch of chop fest and then you start seeing weird positioning and yeah. But anyways, yeah, you're not going above 7,000 or at least very far. So anyone who's saying that is out of their fucking mind. But yeah, guys, I love you guys. Hope this video helped. Take care and mwah. Yeah.